July has been a bit of a funny reading month for me. I'm going through a small little bit of a slump and I'm thinking that I'm going to take away my own free will and I'm going to use a Wheel of Fortune to pick books from my TBR to read for the month of August. So I have compiled a little list of all the books on my physical TBR on my phone. So without further ado, let's get picking some books. Sorry, I hadn't scrolled down far enough, but I got Self-Portrait with Boy. This is a book that has been on monthly TBRs before now. It's right here. It's written by an author, Rachel Lyon. I'm not quite sure, but this is a book that was basically a bit of a cover buy for me. So I saw the cover and I really liked it, but then I read the synopsis on the back and it sounded like something that I would really like to read. I've never heard of anybody else speaking about this book before, so it was definitely very much of a let's give it a go and see how we get on. So this is basically a book about a woman. She's a photographer and she takes what is arguably the best photo of her whole career, but unfortunately she's left with a bit of a serious moral quandary because this photo is basically depicting the death of a boy. And while our artist knows that this photo could do really great things for her career, she's obviously reluctant to do anything with it because of the subject matter. That is pretty much all that I know about this book, but I really love books that deal with sort of moral quandaries within art, and I find it a little bit difficult to come across them. So this is one that really piqued my interest when I found it in the bookshop. I don't know why I haven't picked it up yet, but hopefully August will be the month for me. That's one book. I feel pretty okay with that. So we're gonna go again. We'll try another one. Okay. What have we got? The Devils. Okay, so this is the latest Joe Abercrombie book, which is actually in my July TBR basket, and I still haven't read it and will not be reading it before July is out. I feel like my shelves have gotten quite precarious of late, but this, as I mentioned, is Joe Abercrombie's latest novel, and we follow a group of ragtag, I was going to say like ragtag criminals, but it's more like a ragtag group of convicted monsters. I don't really know what this book is about too much, but I've heard it's really quite a romp, really quite fun. I've never read any Joe Abercrombie before and I am really looking forward to this one, so I don't know why I didn't pick it up this month. Definitely going to give this one a chance in August. And we'll go for another one. Come on, little wheel. Don't do me dirty now. Okay. The River Has Roots. This is a book that has recently been added to my shelves. My partner Sean gifted me this book and it's actually not on my shelf. It is elsewhere in the house because I sort of had planned on reading it soon anyway. It's a very short novel written by Amal El-Mohtar. It's about, I think, 133 pages, and Amal El-Mohtar was one of the co-writers of This Is How We Lose the Time War, one of those. That's a sci-fi book that depicts the beginnings of a romance between two people fighting for opposite warring factions, and it was something really special and really unusual. I believe The River Has Roots is quite different in that it is more so sort of fairy tale-esque rather than sci-fi. There's something to do with trees, with ancient trees that are protected or that are special or magical in some way. Again, I don't know all too much about it, but I don't want to give too much of it away for myself or for you because obviously it is a very short book, but it's one that I am definitely looking forward to. And we'll go again because that was a shorty. So if I was less lazy, I would be doing screen records of this and then just popping it up on the screen beside me, but that's not who I am as a person. The Kingkiller Chronicles. So I have been a little bit reluctant to start this series because there are 2 books currently published in this series so far, and there are 3 planned, but now people are kind of wondering, will we ever get this 3rd book? And I always forget what books are about, like immediately after I've read them, so I don't know when this 3rd book is coming or even if it actually is. But anyway, The Kingkiller Chronicle consists of the first book, The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. I have heard many phenomenal things about this book, and yet I know nothing of what it's about. I've sort of kept it that way because it's nice to hold stories back. I think particularly when it is a very hyped book, I don't want to be accidentally spoiled for it, but also I don't want to go into it with these very particular expectations about what I think this book is about, and then for it to be about something completely different. So this is again a very high fantasy book. I feel like I have quite a few of these left on my shelves and very little literary fiction, which is fine. I have been enjoying fantasy lately, but I do find myself tempted to buy books from other genres now that we're getting a bit down in numbers on my physical TBR. I don't know what this book is about, but there's something to do with killing kings, I would imagine. Hopefully this is one I will get to in August. I'm not making any promises because I already have The Devils, which is another big chunk. So that's the 4th book that I potentially might read in August. So that is very much 3 particularly fantastical books in a row. We'll see, can we get like another literary or middle ground book? So come on, little phone. Okay. East of Eden, yet another one that has been on my July TBR. So it's sitting in the TBR basket right here. Yeah, John Steinbeck. I really wanted to prioritize this one in July, and for some reason I just didn't. I don't know why. This has been a very bizarre reading month for me. I've read a lot less than I normally might, and I feel like everything that I read has been not what I've been in the mood for, but I don't know what I have been in the mood for. Anyway, East of Eden, John Steinbeck. Is this the one that's based basically on the story of Cain and Abel, but it's set in America in the Dust Bowl? I actually read like half of this many years ago, half my lifetime ago, I'm gonna say, and I still don't know what this novel's about. So set in the rich farmland of the Salinas Valley, California, this powerful, often brutal novel follows the intertwined destinies of 2 families, the Trosks and the Hamiltons, whose generations helplessly reenact the fall of Adam and Eve and the poisonous rivalry of Cain and Abel. I've heard so many people say that this is one of the best books ever written. When I was younger, I just fell out of reading it. I feel like now in hindsight, it was probably the wrong time for me to pick up a book like this, rather than it being the wrong book for me, if that makes sense. I have really high hopes for this one, and I think that's probably why I keep putting it off. But hopefully now coming to the end of summer, this is a book that I really will get into. So okay, so we have 5 books. I'm gonna go for one more because I don't want to do overkill, but The River Has Roots is pretty short. So one last little spin. Hopefully it's a good one. I just don't know what I want to read anymore. The Women. Absolutely perfect, and I'll tell you for why. Firstly, where is it? It's here. So this is Kristen Hanna's latest novel, The Women. Kristen Hanna is the author of the notoriously popular book called The Nightingale, which I have read, and I've also read a novel named The Great Alone by her. I feel like a lot of people don't really rate The Great Alone that highly, but I actually really loved it. It basically follows a family who goes homesteading, moves to Alaska, has no experience in this, and just goes for it. And it was something that just really tickled something in my brain at the time that I read it. I really enjoyed it. And this is, as I've mentioned, Kristen Hanna's latest book. I bought this book in particular because just on a whim, I booked a ticket to go see Kristen Hanna in Conversation in September. So August would be the perfect time for me to read this. I don't really know what it's about though. Are we noticing a theme with me and the books on my shelf? I've just read a bit of the synopsis, and yes, I have heard a little bit of what this book is about. We follow an American woman who joins the nursing corps during the Vietnam War and gets shipped out. And I believe then it's about her life and the women that she meets while she's there. And so it's obviously a book that's set during a war, and it's obviously historical fiction. It's a literary book. So far I have really enjoyed the books I've read by Kristen Hanna. They feel sort of like sad historical palate cleansers in a way, and I expect something similar from this one. It actually is a book that I am excited to read. There's something about Kristen Hanna's writing that I have so far found really easy to read and also really heart-wrenching. And if you know anything about me, you know I love to cry when I'm reading a book, when the book is sad, not just because I like to cry while reading. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to picking this one up, and I would imagine that you will definitely be seeing this one on my August wrap-up. And so there you have it, pals. Me off on another mission that I'm probably going to fail in terms of reading my own books. If you've been here a while, you know I've been trying to work my way through my physical TBR and have been largely hugely successful up until this summer when something clicked and I started buying more books than I've been reading. But here we are, we're still pottering along. Let me know if you've read any of these books yourselves and what you have thought of them. I also have one more request. I have said numerous times throughout this video that I don't know what I'm in the mood for reading, but actually I'm feeling dark books. Like, think gothic horror, something set in a really isolated, dark place, something a bit creepy, a bit spooky, a bit mysterious potentially. I'm feeling like something like Shirley Jackson or like Silvia Moreno Garcia or something along those lines, but I can't think of anything that I really want to read that I haven't already read. So if you have any suggestions that you think might meet this criteria, please do let me know in the comment box below. Otherwise, pals, I am so grateful as ever that you've stuck with me this long. If you want to leave me a comment but you don't know what to leave me some sort of little spooky emoji, because I'm feeling that already even though we're only in July. Thanks so much for watching, pals. I'll check in with you next week in another video. Take care. Chat soon.